Hello, Greg from GregVWorld. Thanks for joining me. Today, I am at Sam Houston National Forest, just off the Stubblefield Campground trailhead, about half a mile in. You'd know all that if I had thought to turn on my microphone when I filmed all of that an hour ago. So I've been milling around here about an hour thinking I'm filming and recording audio, and I'm not. So there's that. Anyway, this is the first time I've had a chance to get out and go, well, do anything in the wilderness since I moved here to Montgomery, Texas back in November from McAllen, Texas, which is where I filmed all my previous birding nature videos. That's been about, so now it's February. It's been about October since I got out. So it's been a while. It's been a minute since I've had a chance to get out and about and explore. Today is my very first foray into the Houston area wilderness. The biggest area here is the Sam Houston National Forest, which surrounds the Conroe Lake. I'm not familiar with any of this. When I filmed things back in the valley, I was going to places that I had been to many times, and I knew that there was always a place I could go to see birds and share that experience. Here, I have none of that. So this is basically a shared discovery, if you will. What I'm finding out is this forest, like most of this part of Texas, is tall pines, a lot of scrub, and surprisingly tons and tons of palms, small palms, which I definitely saw that down by Mexico, but I didn't expect that this far north. The weather up here so far this year has been much more tempered, much more moderate than it was down in the valley, down south by McAllen by the border. We had one hard freeze last month, but right now it's like 70 and very nice. It's February 21st, I think, today. As I started down this path, well, first I went to the campground, looked around the lake there, didn't see anything, started heading down the path, finally found a lake access, saw some pelicans way in the distance, along with some other birds, but they were just hundreds of yards away, so I was never going to get a good shot of them. One word I would use to describe this particular area is spooky. It's a lot of crows cawing, a lot of mist in the air, a lot of scary looking plants. So yeah, and a lot of spiders, which I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of running into spiderwebs, but it is beautiful. And it's very birdy, like exceptionally birdy. I'm hearing crows and blue jays and Northern Cardinals and Carolina wrens and titmice and a lot of blue jays, actually. Blue jays are something I don't have any experience with. I saw one from a great distance. I only knew it was a blue jay from its call, which is very distinctive. I've never actually seen one in the wild that I recall. I didn't really get into birding until about 5 years ago. When I lived in Utah, I'm sure I saw blue jays, but I wasn't really paying attention. So anyway, today I'm trying to get access to the lake, which I can see from here, but there's not a lot of lake access from this trail, so it's getting frustrating. But that's what I'm going to try to do. Again, there's a huge amount of water birds, which included, I mentioned pelicans, anahinga, some skimmers and ducks and stuff way in the distance, which would have been great. And it was also an hour ago, so the light was better and it was cool. But now, not so much. Anyway, let's just tarry on, see what we see. Yeah, let's do that now. Between hiking around this area in Sam Houston National Forest. By the way, I don't know what a national forest is. There was no entry gate. There's a sign that announced you're entering Sam Houston National Forest. I did see some what I would think were private residences since I drove in here. Ooh. It was a bit of a drive. I'm right now about 45 minutes from my house in Montgomery. Hey there, Greg coming at you from the future. And when I say future, that location film was done back in February, and it is currently May 26th. So it's a span, right? But I thought I needed to circle back a little bit and mention a few things. One, the condition of the Sam Houston National Forest when I filmed this was more or less winter-ish, brown, and as I mentioned, spooky. I haven't actually been back to that area, but I expect by now it's greened up a bit and gotten lusher and not so spooky. And hopefully not so many spiders. I mean, there were so many spiders that let's not. Also, as is typical, when I go somewhere, I don't really bone up on it. And after the fact, I kind of like to look, circle back and check out a little bit about the area. But let's talk a little bit about the Sam Houston National Forest. And when I say let's talk a little bit about that, let me read to you the 60-second description I got AI to produce for me. Yay for technology. Anyway, let's do that now. Established in 1936 by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the Sam Houston National Forest was born out of a desperate need for environmental rescue. By the early 20th century, decades of aggressive, unregulated logging had stripped the East Texas landscape bare, leaving behind depleted soil and vast fields of stumps. To heal the land, the federal government stepped in to purchase the acreage, and the Civilian Conservation Corps, the CCC, which I've never heard of, rolled up their sleeves. These Depression-era workers planted millions of pine saplings, built roads, and painstakingly laid the groundwork for the sprawling, resilient ecosystem we enjoy today. Today, the forest spans more than 163,000 acres across Montgomery, Walker, and San Joaquin counties. It serves as a crucial ecological refuge, providing a protected habitat for endangered species like the red-cocked woodpecker, which I still don't know how to say that, and hosting the iconic 96-mile Lone Star hiking trail. This massive public space stands as a vital green firewall, preserving a wild, quiet slice of Texas history right on the doorstep of the fourth largest metropolis in the country. I've noticed there's a little bit of an ecological spin on there. I didn't ask AI to do that, but I can tell you this. Living here in Montgomery County, which just really bumps right up against the Sam Houston National Forest, there's a ton of development, including my own neighborhood. Tons and tons and tons of new homes, planned developments, and all that are really just popping up everywhere. So, yeah, I guess there is a little bit of, I guess all of our wildlands are in danger in some way. At any rate, it is a nice area, except for the spiderwebs, which I really didn't enjoy at all when I was there, but I'm sure those have abated a little bit now that summer is here. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Anyway, what I was going to say is one of the primary differences is you find yourself craning your neck a lot more because the trees here are much taller. The pine trees here are very tall. I don't know what kind of pine trees they are, but they're the predominant tree in this area. And they're barren almost all the way up until you get to the very tippy top. They're like 100 feet high, and that's where the birds hang out. So you're like going like this to see the birds. It is a nice hike at any rate, except for the spiderwebs. There's a cardinal. Female cardinal up there, but by the way, that's the bird. Goodbye. Since I've lived here, the primary birds at this time of year, I've never lived here before, and I've never been here this time of year. Pretty much the only birds I see around my house and in my backyard are crows, vultures, Northern Cardinals, and Carolina wrens, and some sparrows, not house sparrows. Thankfully, we have no house sparrows in our area. We're a little too rural for that. So the sparrows I saw were, I can't remember. I'll list it here. I got one new lifer the other day, and I can't remember what it was. Just right in my back. Oh, it was the sparrow. It was a spring sparrow? I can't remember. I'll show you here. Right now, in my area, not quite as diverse as down in the valley, and not quite as exotic as down in the valley. These are much more run-of-the-mill birds, but they're birds I haven't seen before. Like I said, I've never seen a blue jay in the wild, and almost every day I see beautiful cardinals in my backyard, and also a big, fat, hairy, flightless bird that I'll call a squirrel, which I actually enjoy watching as well. So I don't mind the squirrel coming to eat my relatively inexpensive seed. I do need to get better seed, though, because the birds coming by are leaving a lot of the mullet and the filler stuff that's in my seed. All right, so I can see the lake. Oh, ha. I see a trail going down towards the lake. So let's go check this out. I'm putting the camera out in front of me so that you can see where I'm going, and also to break through the spider webs, which are more or less a constant deterrent to my hiking. All right, well, this is marshy. Kind of place I would expect to see something. Oh, there's a crane in the distance. Everything's more cranes in the distance. That is a bald freaking eagle right there. And I'm not going to be able to get it from my camera because I'm holding this for you. Maybe he'll come back. Okay, that's a lifer because I haven't seen one since I started keeping track. It just scares. Okay, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. All right, I'm going to put you down, okay? Becoming frustrating. There's definitely birds in the lake. They're just not anywhere near me. So before I go any further, let me give you a little advice. If you scrimp and save up a little money so that you can finally buy yourself that GoPro you've had your eye on for your adventure and sports photography, videography, don't do it. Don't buy the GoPro because they're hideous. They're satanic, horrible little devices that will always, always let you down at the most critical moment. So for some reason, mine just stopped working. And I've resorted to my iPhone, which is a fantastic video device, and I have it with me all the time, so I don't know why I don't use it more often. In fact, now that I have this new microphone, maybe I will. But I like to use it for other things like, mapping and texting, and it's hard to do that and have it be a camera too. Anyway, the thing I was saying was this is becoming an exercise in frustration, and so I'm starting to head back in the direction of the trailhead in my car. The sun is coming out, and it's now behind my back. Photographically speaking, it's better now if I see something in the trees. Yeah, it's actually a lot better now. See? Got a little blue sky. I hear something in the distance that sounds like troops exercising or something to that effect. So that'll be interesting. It's not nearly as spooky as it was an hour or so ago. Right now it's about probably 9:30. Can you hear that? That sounds like troops training and yelling off things in unison. I don't know what that's all about. That's not going to help my birding experience at all. That noise is getting louder and louder. I'm going to try the access to the water. Oh, there's a big old beautiful egret flying, big old white egret. I lose a lot of shots when I'm carrying you all around to share the experience because I can't get my camera, this is going to get my camera up fast enough. Okay, let's quietly, all that yelling going on in the distance, I don't know how quiet I need to be. Good light, but no birds. What in God's name is that? I think they're coming down the path. Oh, well, thank you. I feel special. Good morning, troops.
Good morning, sir.
Is this some sort of Marines?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for your service. Wow.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great job. Have a good day.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, that was interesting. I had a chance to inspect the troops. I should have told one of them that his shoes wasn't polished. Oh, that would have been perfect. Why didn't I think of things like that when I found the spot? As much as I appreciate the training those young people must be getting, they're not helping my birding efforts. So I think today's going to be a wash. I think it's going to be a scrub. I don't think much is going to come of it. Now, if I was just a birder and not a photographer, these sort of days would be a better experience because I'm sure I could bring out my 8x42s and see a lot of these birds, identify them, which is great. That's fun. Not really what I'm into. But as far as getting a picture of them, way up in the trees, little flighty birds, not gonna work. So a thing has occurred to me as I've been wading through the mud trying to get a decent shot of a bird hundreds of yards away. This is a lake. I'm used to ponds, large ponds, which obviously restricts the distance that a bird can be from you. But I mean, I can see a mile down this lake. And if I see a bird a mile down the lake, that means I have to hike down a mile to see the bird, because I do not get a shot with this camera. So there's that. So that's another thing I have to get used to, is finding a spot. I need to explore this area more and do some research and discovery. That's what I need to do. Because when I first moved to McAllen, I had no idea where the birds were. I think there's a lot more birds down there, though. Anyway, we won't talk about that. My reasons for moving to Houston are varied and sundry. And birds wasn't one of them. All right, moving on. Well, as I'm getting closer to the car, it appears that my single best shot today is going to be a fairly mediocre picture of a penguin. Not a penguin. That would be fantastic, actually, a penguin. Wow, penguin in Texas. No, pelican. Pelican is what I meant to say. Big white pelican. So I've just discovered that the Lone Star hiking trail, which is the one that I was just on, is 128 miles long. Wow. Well, I think it's time to get home and see the wifey and get some of my weekend stuff done. Bottom line, this is a nice area. Definitely, it looks nice for camping. There are campers here, camping going on, and it's nice for hiking, and it's probably nice for birding if you know what you're doing. I didn't, not here. And of course, this is part of Lake Conroe, which is enormous, and the finger comes right in here. I'll show you on a map. And yeah, I mean, I can recommend it for coming and hanging out. I can't not recommend. How can I not recommend it? It's a pretty place that people come to all the time. Who am I? Who am I to say it's not a nice place? It's a nice place. This didn't work out for me today. For persons whose primary goal was to get pictures of birds in good light, no. I did get, a couple pictures of a pelican. So, all right, next time.